The defense attorney for the mass shooter in Parkland, Florida, is confirming reports that he has received a large volume of fan mail, in addition to sexually explicit images and other notes from women and girls who find him attractive. So let's go to that. The suspect in the Florida high school shooting that killed 17 is getting letters of support in jail, including fan mail and pictures of scantily clad women, in addition to hundreds of dollars in contributions to his commissary account. The South Florida Sun Sentinel obtained copies of these letters, including one from a woman who called the shooter beautiful and others with suggestive photos. To give you an example of one of these letters, by the way, they're not letting him see these letters, thankfully. One of the letters says, I'm an 18-year-old. I'm a senior in high school. When I saw your picture on the television, something attracted me to you. Your eyes are beautiful and the freckles on your face make you so handsome. What is going on?
This isn't a new phenomenon at all.
I know, it's not new, but apparently the attorney who's representing him, the public defender who is representing him, said that they've experienced this before, but not to this extent, not with this volume. And that's
I think social media, I mean, I hate to always hang out on social media, but I do think this age of so many different tributaries fitting into that river of communication that you can get to that guy, I think these days there's just more of it because, sort of as Grace says, it's not new. The number of crazies out there who just want a piece of his weird fame, and that's the disturbing thing about it, that these guys who do this crap, and it's overwhelmingly guys, I mean men, so I say guys deliberately, the guys who are involved in these massacres and in these horrible acts, they're achieving I know it's an infamy, but it's also a fame. It is, their pictures are plastered everywhere. Their manifesto that's found on Facebook is then read. You feel like you get to know them in this awful way. And that creates an aura around them. And that aura is something that people respond to. And in this, now I go back to the technology, in this day and age, if I can use that phrase, when you can get your message in so many different ways out to so many different places, it just creates an even bigger aura around this guy. So I see that as the phenomenon as it plays out in this culture.
Yeah, it's like this sinister cloud, and that people get sucked into it for twisted reasons. And it's actually, I would say that I don't think it has that much to do with social media, although we're more aware of it. I think we have a heightened awareness because through a number of serial killers that we've talked about on Murder with Friends, there will be people that will show up to their trial, supporters that are fully fledged supporters that want to, they get married behind bars and all this stuff happens. When we covered Columbine, I was doing research for that, and I remember finding that there are active Tumblr sites, fan sites for those shooters, those murderers. And so I'm not surprised by this, but I think that it sounds like his public defender is handling it in a responsible way. I feel weird about even kind of talking about it, for it to be a main news story, because I'm really hesitant for this person, for the shooter, to get wind of this. I don't want that. I don't want there to be any validation of that sort.
I forgot that Grace is an expert on murder and these people who are involved in it. I mean, her show, Murder with Friends, does talk about a lot of this stuff, so she is familiar with it. I mean, it's kind of a grim thing.
It is, and it kind of all, again, like it is like that aura, it all kind of comes with this like gross territory, and there are people that will become fans.
So, okay, and I don't mean to put you on the spot because you weren't expecting me to ask you these questions, but the people who end up fantasizing about these mass murderers and these terrible people, I mean, are they mentally sound? Are they normal, everyday people, or are in covering these stories and these mass murderers, the admirers, like, are they just normal, average women who just
It can be sometimes. I mean, I think it sort of varies case by case. There's usually some identifying factor within one of these figures, within the infamy that I think they're sort of drawn in by that they connect with. And you sometimes it's people that you're like, oh, that's kind of a crazy, that whatever that means. That's someone that would have this deviant interest. But then a lot of times you'll just have people, and I think men and women alike, that out of nowhere align themselves with a murderer, and maybe it's not something that they would have ever expected, and maybe there's more research on it off the top, I can't think of anything, but it's a variety of people that will be drawn in. I just think it comes down to how you handle that when you do have this mass murder behind bars, making sure that he is not aware that he is growing a fan base, because I think that's where it gets really dicey, and that's where you sort of get into sort of like the Mansonisms and how he was able to cultivate a following even behind bars.
Right. And people are donating their money toward his commissary.
That's right.
Up to $800 according to his public defender. So that's what's going on, but luckily, it is being handled responsibly, and it doesn't seem as though he is getting any type of access to this fan mail or this money.
If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.